right, guys, welcome back to the 21 Convention. It's our final day here. I hope everybody had an awesome time last night, going out, going to dinner with the speakers. Behind me, I have the ARX Fit Omni, and before we have the world's first public unveiling of this machine with Keith Norris, Anthony's going to actually want to have a word about him and the machine. Anthony, please come to the stage.
Okay. I've used these machines, earlier prototypes, for going on, I think, 2.5 years now. I was actually introduced to it through Drew Bay. I met Drew Bay and got introduced to the machines. Since then, I've traveled to Austin, Texas, trained there with Keith, Skylar, and Mark Alexander, the guys behind these machines, in addition to Randy, one of the engineers, or the primary engineer on them. In all cases, I think this machine is one of the, if not the most advanced machine in the world for exercise, informed in the sense of intensity, safety, effectiveness, and efficiency, and technology. It's state-of-the-art, point-blank period, and it's an honor to have it here being unveiled at the 21 Convention for the first time ever. That said, Keith, welcome to the stage. Thank you for doing an awesome job at the event and demoing this thing that's going to change the world.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
What's up, guys? Good to be back here. ARX Fit Omni, home version. It's a home version of what we use in our studios in Austin, Texas. The actual devices we use in the studios, I kind of call the Sherman tanks. They're massive machines. They're industrial machines. We came up with this so people could use them in the home. And you might ask yourself, well, why would I need something like this in my home? So we'll go over that real quick, and I'll kind of explain where this tool can fit in the toolbox. We talked about yesterday about having various tools in the toolbox that we can use to pull out and use to our advantage. Some tools being better in some circumstances than other tools. The thing about resistance training is the body adapts best to various physiological hits. If you leave out one of those hits, you're leaving a little bit on the table. So if you think back, and I'll put this back on the board here in a bit, if you think back to the force velocity curve and what I call surfing the force velocity curve, you try to pick exercises and tempos that will affect each part of that curve. And you constantly fold these into your workout programs. So your workout is constantly varied. ARX Fit Omni. How did we come up with the ARX name? Interestingly enough, ARX, ARX, is Latin for a reinforced camp or a citadel. It's kind of a good name for this thing, all right? The A stands for adaptive, and I'll get into this in just a bit. Throughout the strength curve, a person is biomechanically more efficient. Let's just take a bench press, for example. A person is biomechanically more efficient in certain phases of the exercise than others. At more of the top end of the push, you can handle way more weight. To put it in layman's terms, you can handle way more weight here than you could ever handle down in this position. In a normal weighted exercise, barbells and dumbbells, you're limited, the amount of weight you can use in the exercise, you're limited in your most limited biomechanical position, which in the bench press would be down by your chest. So the weight, obviously, you can't use a weight any greater than what you could handle down here by your chest. Effectively, your musculature is getting a break, so to speak, as you move up through this range. The exercise is effective, yes, it is effective, but is it efficient? No. And is it efficient in certain parts of that force velocity curve? Again, no, it's not. So how the iteration to this machine came about, early people in the early adherents of physical culture figured out that if they added chains to a barbell bench press, that could somewhat adapt to the strength curve. In other words, if I'm down here with a light weight, I have chains hanging off the bar. Some of you may have seen this, still used. If I have chains hanging off the bar, as I lift the weight, more links are coming up off the ground, effectively making the bar heavier. I can handle a heavier weight throughout that push because I'm now in a biomechanically better position to do so. The problem with that is it's not too finely tuned. There's no way to tune it. You can get different size links to put on the chain, heavier links, but you're still not perfectly matching the strength curve throughout the range of motion. The second adaptation under this theory came under Arthur Jones, who invented the Nautilus and the cam design. Again, a step beyond and a step better, in some respects, to using chains and or bands in the exercise. But the limiting factor here is that cam is fixed. There's no way to change the size of the cam, and the cam is sized for an average person. Therefore, someone with shorter limb lengths, that cam does not match their strength curve effectively. And also someone with longer limb lengths, again, doesn't match its strength curve. What we have done is eliminated that problem because effectively we have an ever-changing cam size. So it matches each person's strength curve all the way throughout. We have a motor that feeds and then retracts the band so that you're able to put as much force as possible as you can at each portion of the strength curve. Perfectly matched for everybody. No chains, no bands. No worries that your particular biomechanics is going to match a cam design. Real quick, let me show you the strength curve I was talking about real quick. This might help make a little bit of sense. Basically, that's the strength curve for a concentric movement. In this case, I'm just going to call it the bench press so we can talk about one exercise that makes sense to pretty much everybody. Everybody can envision a person doing a bench press. This is what your strength curve looks like. We come out of the negative portion of the movement, and I'll talk about this portion here. I've left this tail off. We come out of the negative portion of the movement, come into the pause, bounce out of the stretch reflex, and here we go up through the movement. If the weight I use is limited to this, obviously, from what I can lift off my chest, I've got a lot in the tank left here, force-wise. A lot left in the tank. But what if I was able to increase this weight, increase the force exponentially? Now my muscles are forced to provide every bit of force they are capable of in each portion of this movement as I go along, and it's instantaneous. It's an instantaneous rise in force that equals my ability to produce force at these angles going up. Let's talk about the negative portion of the exercise. What many people don't realize is that trainees can handle from 20 to 50% more weight in an eccentric movement or the lowering portion or the muscle lengthening portion of an exercise. Again, if I'm only using this weight, I'm leaving a lot on the table. What else can I do? I can have a training partner shoved down on the bar, but that's kind of inaccurate too. Or I can use this machine, ARX equipment, and now I'm given every bit that I can handle now on the eccentric portion of the exercise. Every bit of force I can handle. So as I come up through the eccentric, I'm able to produce even more force until I come back down and we hit here again, and we're starting back on the concentric portion of the movement. All that said, if you just think about this one thing, just keep in your mind that as I move along through any movement, that machine matches the amount of force that I can produce in each position instantaneously. That means I'm maxed out at every portion of the exercise. What this means is if I do a 5 repetition, what we call hyper repetition exercise, where I'm pushing as hard as I can on the concentric or positive portion of the exercise, and also resisting as much as I can on the negative portion, I get a huge bang very, very quick. Huge. That's time efficiency. Big time time efficiency. Better efficiency than chains and bands, obviously. More safe. Better efficiency, too, than any kind of pre-manufactured cam design. So that's the whys behind here. Now, where would something like this fit into the overall scheme? How would I use this tool, and why would I want such a tool? Do you remember again from yesterday? Just real quick here. Velocity. Force. Looks a little something like this. Velocity being speed of movement, whether that be a bar through the air, whether that be my body moving up. In a home atmosphere, I can pretty much do, with barbells, dumbbells, and body weight, I can cover a lot of exercises all up and down this force velocity curve, which is good. That's exactly what I want. I want to give my body a different physiological look that it will be forced to adapt to. I don't want to stay stagnant in any one spot because I'm leaving a lot left on the table. I'm leaving a lot of both hypertrophy gains on the table, and I'm leaving a lot of sport-specific adaptations on the table. What happens is, in a home environment, when I get down into this area, now what do? Now I'm limited. Remember back when I was talking about bench pressing, for instance, with chains and bands. That's what people were trying to affect in this area. They wanted to give the body a physiological look, a physiological hit. How are they going to do that to encompass this part of the force velocity curve? Well, that's what they were trying to do. Then Nautilus came along with the cam. Same thing, another attempt to give the body a look in this portion of the curve. That's exactly where this machine fits in. But it's much more efficient than a Nautilus cam, and way more efficient than training with chains and bands. So that's where this fits. That's where this machine fits in to the total picture. Is it a silver bullet for training? No, absolutely not. It's not the silver bullet. It's part of a full toolbox. We don't claim that it's a silver bullet. We claim that it's the most efficient means of attacking this part of the force velocity curve. It's very, very efficient at doing that. It's a perfect match for the strength curve for everybody. Again, there's no cam to worry about, which means someone with extreme limb lengths, as well as someone with very, very truncated limb lengths, can use this machine with the same effect. So I guess the best way to check this machine out is to actually get on it and see how it feels. Because unless you have actually trained like Anthony has at our Austin area studio, you really don't have a good feel. If you look at our YouTube, Efficient Exercise or ARX YouTube, excuse me, website, you'll see people training on this, and it's very difficult to conceptualize what's going on. You see somebody struggling, fighting against this machine, and you're like, well, yeah, it looks like they're working hard, but I don't get a feel for it because I just don't see. There's no bar bending. There's nothing to indicate how much force is being applied. And what always happens is people will come, and Anthony can tell you this, the first time they get on it after watching it, the first time they get on it, they're like, whoa, what the hell was that? Because it is such a hit on your body. It's amazing. It really is amazing. So what I'm going to do, I have this machine set up right now where I can run through 3 different exercises pretty quick. It's capable of doing many, many more exercises than what I'm going to demonstrate here today, or what you guys will have a chance to go on today. What I'm going to start off with is just a basic chin exercise, pull down. And I'm only going to do 3 repetitions. No need for me to go through the full 5. I'll do 3 repetitions of hyper reps. So I'm pulling as hard as I can on the concentric portion, resisting as much as I can on the eccentric. In your mind's eye, think about how these exercises would be achieved, how I would give my body the physiological look here. How would I do that with chains and bands and with a cam? In a lot of instances, it can't be done unless you're doing it on one of our machines. So what I'm going to start off with is a chin, or a pull down, reverse grip. I'm going to flip around and I'm going to do a vertical or a horizontal press. Then I'm going to loop the band underneath and I'm going to do a belt squat. Pretty much what I'll have people do is they come up. And just to give you a feel for what's going on and what it feels like to work in this zone as opposed to on up in this area, up into the ballistic area. It's a totally different physiological hit. You'll see what I mean once you get on it. You get to play with it a bit. So let me jump right over here and I'll set up and we'll go through a few things. Any questions before I move on to that? Hold on one second. He's going to mic you here.
When you're exerting that much force on yourself,
sure,
and you're putting yourself into that zone, it seems like it would take a big hit on your recovery time.
Oh, it does. It definitely does.
I'm just wondering if there's a trade-off to a trade-off to not working out as much because you have so much recovery time.
Yeah. So whenever we're training, and again, whether we're using the most efficient means or whether you're training chains and bands, Nautilus machines with a cam, it's a huge hit on your body. It's a big time hit. So when using this, yes, the frequency at which you can train in this zones, I mean, you got to stretch out the frequency pretty wide. Whereas if we're training more in this area, up in here, frequency can, okay. If you're looking at it as a sine wave, then the wave is being crunched together. If you're working out more in this zone, it's got to be stretched out further. So yeah, you're right. But the way I use this, I'm one day here, one day here, one day there. So I'm constantly flipping back and forth. That allows me to work out much more frequently. So I can fill in those gaps where I would normally be taking time off here because I know my recovery ability. I can fill in those off time gaps with workouts that are more up in this area. So I get more frequency in that way. It doesn't have to be done that way. I have the time to do it, okay? If someone doesn't have the time to do that, stay more in this area, increase the frequency. You're leaving a little bit on the table, hypertrophy-wise, sporting conditioning-wise, if you're not filling in the gaps with work in this area. But again, if you look back to that template that I talked about yesterday, the health performance curve, what do you want? You know, do you want to be healthy with a little bit of time investment, or do you want to push the envelope? You want to push the envelope, you're going to have to put in a little bit more time. It comes down to that. And if you're going to push the envelope, you're going to have to be smart about programming your training and not stay in this area repeatedly, or you will overtrain. Take a hit here, now you fill in the gaps with workouts that encompass more of this area. Anybody else? Let's get on it. Let's do it.
Guys who signed waivers, head up to the front left stage. Keith, are you doing a demo first?
Yeah, I'm just going to run through a quick demo just to show you guys what's going on. And like I say, y'all don't want to see me up here because you can sit there and watch me playing with it and you're like, yeah, whatever, until you actually get on it, and then you get the true feel for what's going on here. So I'll just run through just to kind of show you exercise form, just to show you kind of how to set up for it, and then I'll help you as you come up here and as we go through things. So the first thing I'm going to do is a pull down or a chin. A force velocity curve makes sense to you guys? About the whole programming thing and why, you know, the frequency as it relates to that? It boils down to this: your musculature, your actual musculature will recover very, very fast between workouts. What doesn't recover fast is the central nervous system. These work in this area at the bottom right-hand side of the force velocity curve, very, very, very high intense central nervous system hits. It takes a long time to recover from that kind of work. It's very, very intense. Whereas to the upper left, as we start moving that direction, yes, there is central nervous system hit, but it's much less intense. So I can recover very quick from those kind of workouts and bounce right back, come back the next day and hit it again. That's.
You said like central nervous system.
Yep.
What exactly is it tiring out of your central nervous system?
We wish we knew.
Yeah.
If we knew that, you know, then we could affect recovery and come back very quick.
I guess how do you know it's a central nervous system? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just wondering because usually central nervous system is like, when people talk about that, they talk about like sort of like, you know, psychoactive effects and things
Yes.
like that. And so I'm just curious, like when you say the central nervous system gets tired, like how do you know that, and what are the symptoms of it? And
Wow, that's a whole other can of worms to open up. But essentially, do we know everything in that area?
Right.
No, we don't. We know what the central nervous system affects,
okay,
and we know what it looks like when the central nervous system is not firing on all cylinders, so to speak.
is that something that you could feel, like that I could tell that I was tired out that way?
Yeah.
Just that I feel tired. That's it.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things. Other things you can look at is morning temperature, rising temperature. Simple things such as being able to do a very high repetition task. I mean, you could look at things such as tapping on a keyboard. How many taps can you get in 15 seconds? When your central nervous system is fresh and you're ready to go, you can get X number of taps. When you're stressed, when your central nervous system is stressed from either working out or any other stress, the number of taps that you can get in is way diminished. It's a very interesting area of study.
Yeah, I understand that, and I
Sure.
can see how like it may not be just a muscular issue that's preventing you
And
from
it's
doing
not.
that.
The muscles will recover very, very fast.
All right,
very
thanks.
fast. So what I'm going to start off with is the positive portion of this movement. It's a basic chin, okay? Negative portion, I can handle a lot more force. Okay. Does anybody know what a muscle up is? A muscle up is a pull up, pull yourself. It's kind of a gymnastics move. That's this. Similar movement down in that area. That's the difference. That's what we're talking about, force velocity curve. I can do muscle ups all day long on one day, come back the next day, do it again all day long. Come back the next day, do it again all day long. That, once a week. That's the difference. That's a central nervous system hit. It's very, very taxing, very taxing. Right now, all I'm doing is right here is my cam, so to speak, motor and that unit together. All I did, that strap that I was fighting against up here, all I've done is send it underneath the unit. So now I've got it connected here. I'll move the handles. Bang, bang. Now I've got a press set up. I've gone from a pull, now I'm getting it ready to go into a press. And the more and more you do this, the quicker you become at doing it. I haven't seen this machine in, it's been a while, a couple of months anyway. Because we had it in Austin, we test drove it, we sent it back up to Wisconsin for the engineer to make changes to it. So this is the first time I've messed with it in a while. There have been some changes to it, but you mess with it for a little bit, it comes pretty quick. Okay, let's look at a press. I've just completed the pull. In my workout schemes, I really like to do push-pull, agonist-antagonist muscle groups, pair those together. What has happened, since I've done a pull, it's forced my pecs to relax. This is physiology. For my lats and biceps to pull effectively, most effectively, my body will shut down my triceps and my pectorals, the antagonist muscles that I use from the pull. That effectively lets those muscles rest much quicker. So my recovery is much faster. Now, if I wanted to bounce back and forth, like I will do in some of my workouts using this technology, I might do 3 repetitions here, 3 there, 3 here. I might do a total of 9 repetitions total. So now I'm going to do a simple press. Again, it'll take it out of you. So then what I can do, I can reconnect this down here and I could do a simple belt squat. Belt squat is a good exercise because in a normal weighted squat, there's a lot of pressure on your lower back. Big weight on your shoulders, your lower back takes a beating. In a belt squat, I can use much more weight because the weight is now sitting on my hips. I can handle much more weight. My lower back is saved. You'll see that it kicks the heart rate up just a bit. Just a bit. And I'm in pretty good shape, so. Belt squat. Very efficient move. Like I say, that's just 3 exercises here. I can do a multitude of exercises on this. I can do deadlifts, pulling up this way, any manner of benching, all levels of incline. Whew. All levels of pull, from what I went straight up this way, rows of every different angle. And you can do a lot. This bench, folds up and down. But like I say, just so I can get everybody on here today, I'll just kind of stick to these three just so you get a feel for what's going on. But Steve, go ahead and have a seat and seatbelt in, strap in real tight. You did sign a waiver, right?
I did. Thanks.
It's reassuring, huh? Okay. That button right there.
Yeah.
That's the in.
Okay.
So you see if you push this button,
Okay.
it's going up. This button here, pull. Okay. So just reach up. Let's see where we're at here. And come down a little bit. So you want to start off with a good stretch, right?
Yep.
Start off that good stretch, then hit that right and just pull like hell.
You getting this, Charlie? You know it.
Everything you got, pull it down, pull it down, pull it down, pull it down. That's it. Keep pulling, all the way down, all the way down. Let go of the right, hit the left. Fight everything you got. Here's the eccentric portion of the movement right now. Now he's able to handle as much weight as possible as he can possibly handle in this movement. Good stretch and hit it again. Here we go. Keep right on pulling. Good. Come down, come down, come down. Beat the machine. Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. Everything you got, everything you got. That's it. Fight it here. Fight it, fight it. Big eccentric, big eccentric. Fight it up. Fight it, fight it, fight it. Good. There you go, Steve. Good. Hang in there. Hang in there. That's it. Hit it again, my man. Bam. Right here. Here we go. Good. 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 Pull. Nice work. Nice work. Nice work. That's it. Nice job. Resist. Everything you got here. Everything. Back and buys right here. Back and buys. Back and buys. Back and buys. Nice. 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 Fight it. Fight it all the way up. Nice.
More?
Yeah. Go ahead and get two more. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Good. Good, good, good. Come on down, come on down, come on down, come on down. Bam, right here. Every bit of fight you got right here. Fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it. Nice. There you go, there you go, there you go. Good. Get this one here. Last one. Pull, big time pull. Pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it. There you go. All the way down. Pull it to the chest, chest up, chest up. That's it. Elbows back. Fight it right here. Last one. Last one. Fight it. Fight it. Fight it. This is it right here. Fight it all the way up. Nice work. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. This is it right here. All back and biceps. Fight it all the way up. Nice. There you go. Good job.
My name's Steve Maeda, and I endorse. What do you want me to say?
Whatever you can.
It's intense. It's
Yeah,
intense.
you'll feel the, he's going to feel the oxygen debt start to hit him here in a minute. So while he's actually performing the exercise, he's going into oxygen debt here in a minute. He's going to start just heaving, trying to make up that debt.
No, it's, I'll tell you what, 3 reps.
Yeah, you hated me when I
felt,
said to get the last 2.
No, it's good, but it was, if you read the or whatever the information is, I think on the 3rd rep, that was my strongest
Sure,
one.
yeah.
And the 5th, it went down, but
Yeah.
no, that was good. It was good. I'm pretty
Jacked,
dusted
yeah,
on that.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's interesting is on these machines, if you go through, and which is why I'm not necessarily a big fan of one set to failure, because I know from training people on these machines that the second time around, the second set they hit, they're able to hit a higher force output. Their central nervous systems adapt a little bit. They get a little bit more work, and even though they're fatigued, and even though their fatigue might drop off pretty quick, the instantaneous maximum almost always goes up the second time around. So which is why I'm not such a fan of one set to failure as I am more of my auto-regulation where I get 2 money sets. The second money set usually, then you're done. You can go ahead and come on up. You go ahead and strap in.
Hey, Keith, how do we incorporate progressive loading with this?
You don't have to worry about it. It's progressive as you go along because
Okay.
it's adjusting to your strength curve.
Right.
Even within the set, which is something you can't accomplish with chains and bands.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be as if you had somebody there to somehow lighten or heavy up the chains on your bench. So it's automatically bam, bam, bam as you go along. Yeah. Okay. Start off and just pull like hell. As fast as you can, pull it down. 3. And hit it. Fast as you can, pull it down, pull it down, pull it down right to your chest. There you go, chin up, as if you were trying to put your chin over a bar. Now hit it the other way here, the left hand, bam, right now. Fight it, fight it, fight it, all the way up. Everything you got, fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it. All back in biceps on the way up. Bam, and hit, bam, here we go. Back down the other way, good, 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 good. Keep pulling, stay right with it. There you go, good, good, good. Fight it all the way down. And bam, here we go. You also find out what kind of grip you got as well as you're going through here, because your grip is just gonna, so it's a hell of a grip workout as well. There you go, my man, keep pulling. Good, bam, fight it on the way up. Every bit of fight you got here, fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it. Nice work, that's it, keep fighting it, back in biceps, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it all the way up. Nice, right there, good, yep, good job. Let's get one more pull, and then I'll switch it around real quick. We'll get these last 3 guys on a press. Just like that. Now the right hand didn't come down with it, so you're gonna fight it as it comes down. Now fight it. Try to beat it down, try to beat it down, that's it. Pull it right down to you, right down to you, right down to you. Keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling. Chest up. That's it, just like that. Now let go of that one and hit this one. Now fight it. Fight it on the way up, that's it. Yes, just like that. Fight it all the way up. Keep fighting, chin up, yep. Ride it all the way up, get full extension out of the biceps. Good, good, good. Get 2 more if you need them. Good, pull right here. Fast, 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 fast. Think speed on the way down. All the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Speed. Speed, can't get it down fast enough. And now put the brakes on right here. Don't let it up. There you go. Don't let it up, don't let it up. Everything you can. Everything you got here, everything you got, fight it all the way up. That's it. Nice work. Bam. Good, good. That's it. Good. Good job. So as I'm looking at the strength velocity curve, or I'm sorry, the velocity force curve, this pressing motion here, once I get up here, we might be talking ballistic bench presses, medicine ball throws, ballistic push-ups. Okay? I come down here. Now I'm pressing with chains and bands. Now I've got a Nautilus press. Now I've got what's better between those two, the Omni Fit press. Now I'm back down in this area. Now what you're going to find is when you start pressing, your arms are going to start doing that. So you're really going to have to stabilize, which is another good aspect of this machine, is it's not fixed. So now you actually are using stabilizer muscles too, which is a big hit on machines, right? That you don't use stabilizer muscles, but in this machine you actually do. Hit it. Press through just as fast as you can. Press all the way out, all the way out, all the way out, all the way out. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. Bam, let's go back, hit that negative right there. Fight it, everything you got. Fight it back, fight it back, fight it back, fight it. Fight it into a good stretch here. Bam! There you go, good, 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 good. All the way out. Excellent, everything you got, hit this negative right here, fight it back. Chest and triceps, now we're talking about chest and tris. Good, good, good. Nice work, nice work, nice work. Good, 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 fight it all the way in like that. There you go, nice. Yeah, I haven't counted. You can do 5 more if you want. No. Okay. Good job. Yeah, nice. It's a good workout, right? Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. One technique I like to use before I jump on this is I like to do some ballistic push-ups. That kind of gets my central nervous system wired up just a little bit before I jump on something like this. It's a technique you might want to employ even if you're using their old rusty barbell and dumbbell. It gets your central nervous system jacked up just a little bit, so now you can fire into that particular exercise. Okay. Hit it right here, bam, push all the way through, think speed, all the way out this way, speed, 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 keep right on pushing, full extension, bam, let's go into the negative right here, fight it, everything you got, fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it all the way back, all chest and triceps. Good, 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 good. Drive right here. Keep that core nice and tight. Give yourself a good platform to push from. Nice. Stay with it. Stay with it. Drive it all the way through. Tight core, tight core, tight core. Fight it all the way through. Fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it. Nice. Good job. There you go. Nice. Wear you out a little bit. Tough, isn't it? Good job. Nice job. Don't let them scare you, man. It's all right.
Is there a
Drive right through it. Drive right through. Good, good, good. Try to punch right past that pole. Bam, and right here we go back. Fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it. Nice. There you go. Here you go. Fight it, fight it, fight it. Put the brakes on and fight it. Use those stabilizers. Keep the core nice and tight. There you go. Drive all the way through here. Keep right on driving. Fight it all the way back, all the way back, all the way back, all the way back, all the way back. Nice. Good. Good job. Good, good, good. Yeah. Tough, huh? Good job. Good job. Right sends it out. So go ahead and send it out to the point you want to start, and then now push whenever you're ready. Yeah. Drive all the way through, drive all the way through. Good, keep those stabilizers engaged. Good, tight core. And now, bam, send it back right here. Fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it. Fight it all the way back. That's it, chest and triceps, nice work. Good job. There you go, bam, drive through, drive through. Try to punch right past this pole here. Good.
What's that mean?
Good. Good. Fight it all the way back. Nice. Good job. Good. Good job, yeah, man. Cool. Cool. Just strap in with the seatbelt real tight. So this one's up, this one is down. You just kind of give it a test just so it's fixed in your mind which is which, because I can tell you all day, but until you actually hit the buttons, so this one's coming down. Okay. That's it, pull it, pull it, pull it. Good, good, good. Put your chin over the bar. Pull all the way down, nice, nice, nice. That's it, that's it. Big fight here. Good, fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it all the way up. Yes, just like that. Fight it all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Back and biceps. Good job. Nice, nice, nice. Big pull here. Good. All the way down to your chest. Nice work. Elbows down, elbows down, elbows down. Yep, good. Fight, big fight, big fight, big fight. Here's the negative right here. Good. Fight it all the way. Fight it all the way up. Good, back and biceps, good job, good job. Come on down, come on down, come on down, good. That's it, fight it all the way down. Good, 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 good. Chest up here, that's it, bam. Engage the lats and the biceps. All lats and biceps here, good, good, good. Lats and bis, bring those elbows down to the floor. Big pull, big pull, big pull. Chin up, chin up, chin up. That's it. Good. Just like that. Just like that. Good. Fight it. Fight through this fatigue here. Fight through the fatigue. Good. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down. All the way down. All the way down. All the way down. Get that chin over the bar. Back and biceps here. Fight it. Fight it. Fight it. Fight it. Fight it all the way up. All the way up. Nice work. That's it. Good. 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 Yeah. Nice work, huh? Good job. Good job. Good effort.
Excellent machine, man.
Yeah, cool. Cool. Thanks. It's good stuff. And you guys that didn't happen to get on it, he's going to be recovering for a little bit. Like, again, it's an oxygen debt that he incurs because he's not breathing, while you're actually performing the exercises, you're shallow breathing, I call it. Now he's got the opportunity to back off. Now he's going to be heaving quite a bit. If any of you guys sprint, it's the same thing. As you're actually sprinting, you're not heaving, you're incurring oxygen debt. As soon as you stop that sprint and you start to work, that's why you see, if you guys ever watch sprints on TV and they go up and run up and interview these guys right afterwards, they're heaving, they can't even talk. But as they're actually running the sprint, they actually only take maybe one full breath, and that's a sip. During that 10 seconds, they got to make up that oxygen debt after they're done, which is why he's heaving right now. Same concept.
Just one quick. Is it on? All right. Quick question.
Sure.
So I can tell when I'm up there, how much energy I'm exerting, if I'm
Sure.
exerting 100% or if I'm bitching out or whatever. But
Yeah.
I can't. It occurs to me that if I did this, from workout to workout, I
Yeah.
can tell if I'm putting in 100%, but I can't tell if I'm making.
If you're
any
making
progress.
gains, right.
So is there any thought of putting in a sensor or something so that you can actually tell from workout to
Yeah,
workout?
and we do have one. That's what we had our computer set up here. We had a computer glitch in the software, and we couldn't get it up. So actually, yeah, we do. We have a readout, a force readout, which is very similar to the ones we have in studio, which gives you a full, it shows you exactly what you did, your force output, repetition number, so your instantaneous maximum, all these numbers, and then you can gauge workout to workout. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, we have got that. So, ARX Fit Omni, home version. Oh yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. So this is the home version, and there's a gym version?
Yes, yes.
And can we expect to see it in our local gyms?
We hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hope so. We sure do. Okay, guys, so the ARX Fit Omni, this is a home version of what we use in Austin, Texas. The big boys in Austin, Texas, I call the Sherman tank version, the industrial versions. But this is a fantastic home tool to help you work this area of the force velocity curve. I'm glad that the 21 convention had us here, Efficient Exercise had me here, and allowed us to unveil this thing to the world here at the 21 convention. It's been fantastic, guys. I appreciate you having me here.